just gonna go in on this. I'm going in. I'm going in. What's up, chat? What up? I'm waiting on Radconda to get back. I think he'd use the restroom. I didn't want to wait too much longer. So we're going in. And when he's ready, I'll put him back up on the screen. Didn't hear the music. I was dancing and nothing. Oh, yeah. Wow. Wild. Jack. Oh, my goodness. It's crazy. It's going insane. Almost, but no worries. Jack. Good morning. Good afternoon. I'm going to let it do it. Good evening, and welcome to the GMAE show. Today is August 11, 2022. The time, 8:12 p.m. our local time. Chat, we're having a wild one today because I am going to be super busy over the next week or so. Yeah. My wife looks at me like, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Good news for the Joe. And I'm gonna let you guys know because I'm gonna be out for about a week, effective tomorrow. I got a house, I got a new house to go to, and I gotta fill up that house with new electric, not that I need to rebuild it or anything. It's brand new and I like it. Anyway, nonetheless, there's a lot of work to get done to make that happen, including I will not have internet until the 18th. The 18th will be the day that we return to this program, unless Rad Condad takes over. Conrad, you ready to go? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to go. Okay, thank you so much. I'll put you back up in the scene. Up in this scene. Boop. There he is. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the man, the myth, the legend.
Oh, yeah.
How you doing, Conrad?
I'm doing okay. I just had to... Got through the door, had to get those dogs out real quick before
no
the show.
Yeah, they gotta go pee-pee. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to look over and see Kilmer, having a good old time without me, if you know what I mean.
I'm with it.
Yaser Beams. Maxi Mac, having a good time over here. PG, what's up?
Man,
Let's go. What do we got, Joe?
We got beans. Monkey D. Luffy's asking for it. Michael Mo, 1271. Is asking for it, talking about this trailer that just got released by the Sandbox game on a Wednesday when we weren't live. They thought they could sneak it out under us. They thought I wasn't going to talk about it, but we're going to discuss it here on this show because there is a ton of things happening right here in this screenshot. Chat. Lord Agnew asks, do they need you back on the 18th for Season 3? We're not going to speculate on the date release of Season 3. You'll see an official announcement come out before season releases. I hope
that it doesn't... speculation, though.
Yeah, I hope
unfortunately, the timing of Joe's house is just, that.
Yeah, exactly. It was like a work, or a month's worth of work. God bless my wife. Or, whatever you prefer for a term of that. But I got some funny things here. I got some funny things for the chat as we review this image, right? First thing that you'll notice is that there's a huge difference in the way that the map is presented from Alpha Season 2 versus Alpha Season 3. If you joined us for Alpha Season 2, Yaser Beam saying Cthulhu blesses me. There we go. If you join us for Season 2, previously each one of these experiences simply had a top-down picture of what that experience looked like in the Game Maker, right? So it looked like land, space, with its various themes, whatever they may be. Whereas in this season, you're seeing some of these experiences with their logos from their companies, okay? So some of them are actually more obvious. And I liked the fact that they were more obvious. As soon as this trailer hit, I was like, thank you, everyone. I finally get to talk about all the things that I keep bottled up inside for where you guys are like, what's going on in this season? What can we do in this season? So let's talk about this. This is not a super high resolution image as the video has some compression, but for those things that are overt, the things that are obvious, I'm going to mention them because they are here on the screen. The first thing you'll notice...
Joe, is it Dracula's castle?
Dracula's castle is here. You can see it. And actually, that one actually did have its logo last season. So ironically, it looks exactly the same. But nonetheless, things are returning and things are arriving for the first time. And some things that are community built are here, while also some things that are user-generated content builds that have been being built in private are here as well. On top of all those things, major sponsor builds are here in this particular run. And for the first time ever, many partners are here. Some of them are obvious enough that I can talk about them. Thank you so much for this particular video, the Sandbox game, because been wanting to chat forever. So I'm going to start at the top. For things that we can see, that you guys can see if you've been following these people on Twitter. First of all, this trailer came out and a ton of these publishers went, I can talk about it now. And immediately we're like, oh, I'm in season 3. And they were hype about it. And they're telling everybody, right? You got Sportsland being in here. I'm at the top. I'm going left to right from the top. The things that we can identify quite clearly. The ones that we can't quite clearly identify, if you guys know what they are, shout them out in the chat. And we will play a little speculative game here, because I can tell you for sure exactly what it is and exactly what the experience name is. But until each one of those publishers announces it, I don't want to go necessarily spilling the beans on that if they, for some reason, didn't want to. So we got the South China Morning Post. Now, you guys played this experience in Alpha Season 2. The experience is largely coming back with the same themes, right? Not a lot of adjustments needed to be made to that experience. So if you played it before, you'll be familiar with it now. As we know when we talked about the high scores list previously, for each one of these experiences where you are familiar with it, if you're joining us for the first time in Season 3 and you're not familiar and you want to do well on the high scores list, you want to speed run things, you want to optimize, you could probably find some good YouTube videos of people having played these experiences in Alpha Season 2. So when we look at South China Morning Post and we know that experience is familiar from what it was in the previous season, then you know you can go, speed run this with some efficiency. But each quest, from the time you pick up the quest to the time you complete the quest, that portion is timed, and that time goes towards the high scores list, as well as you getting ethos points when you complete these quests and these experiences. So South China Morning Post is on here. Lucky Catland, right next to it, there to the right. All right. You've got the very top experience is one of our faction experiences, and the factions aren't fully implemented, but this idea that we are working towards, which may or may not come to light. We'll see exactly how it goes, but it's a good story beat that came out of the original Alpha Hub, where that is the scientist faction at the top, right? And that road there with the 3 blocks is just literally called Road to Scientist Faction place name that I can't remember off the top of my head. Do you know it, Conrad? I don't know.
Are you talking about your oracles?
No. At the top. The road to, like, who are the scientists? Like, the road to the scientist
Heroes,
people's location.
Oracles, and
scientists, yeah.
I believe it's just scientists, yeah.
But what I'm saying is whatever. Anyway, the particular 2x2 has a name. Like, when you go to...
I don't remember the name. Path to Alderac? No.
That's Aldrak Garrison's the one on the left. That's the heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Zalia Sanctuary is the one on the right. And then, there's the one at the top there, which is the scientist.
Totally spacing on the one.
Totally. Candidly, Kristen doesn't even remember science. And Candidly, Kristen has a safe for, for a brain. So I'm okay with forgetting now. And then you'll see the Tang Dynasty experience that was in the previous season is back right there next to Game Jam 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 experiences.
Is it Central Town?
Central Town? Yeah, I think it is Road to Central Town. Yeah, so Central Town is the... Yeah, very good. Good job, Keeper Top Shot. Good job. So you've got game jam experiences. So in the previous alpha, if you didn't already play them, these game jam experiences were those that were specifically, the game jam was set out to say you'll be in alpha season 2 for these game jam experiences, right? In this particular season, similar to in the previous season, the game jam experiences are not required for you to get the high scores list stuff. But there is, if you want to have fun, if you're a game jam creator, if you're trying to think, like if you're D-Electronics in the chat who has an experience that we played it, it's basically Pac-Man, D. You might want to change the theme a little bit. That's just a me to you thing. No big deal. You're one of my favorite human beings on the planet, but that it's basically Pac-Man. If you can complete the quests, which is win the game, there's only the one core quest on that space, Pac Sand, right? Then there's a timer that's happening during that, right? So if you're an individual creator that created, if you're, I think Vpire's experiences in there, many others, right, in the game jams groups, they have quest timers. So for each individual quest, you're going to be able to go back and see a high score speed run effectively. D says, I don't know what you're talking about. Never heard of it. Appreciate the spirit, D. Let's see here. Now, Ian Richards saying, how are you going to enjoy the game if you have to speedrun the game? Ian, you actually get multiple opportunities to play these experiences. You can play them as many times as you want. So if the first time you want to play it, you just want to play it for the great narrative, which many of these game jam games do have fantastic narratives. That's part of what got them into the top 10 of their respective game jams. Then yeah, just play them and enjoy them. Have fun with their stories, with their gameplays, all those sorts of things. And then come back later if you're interested in doing speedrun things. Once again, you don't necessarily have to compete at all. There's going to be lots of people, like the people who don't want to do the KYC stuff, where they're not really competing at all. They're just playing and enjoying it, right? If you don't want to do KYC, you're going to be like what you're talking about, Ian, where you just want to enjoy the games. Feel free.
Right.
Of course.
And to that aspect, like the majority of people who are going to be speedrunning these things, they're still going to be enjoying their time.
Right.
You still have to enjoy yourself. You got to remember that it's an addition to have a reward pool. It's an addition to have a speedrunning leaderboard. And things like that. The whole core behind the Sandbox is building and being a part of the ecosystem. It's play and earn. Because the primary source here isn't to earn. Right.
Exactly. And so, okay, as I'm looking down this list again, there's a few that I could look up on the website if I wanted to ID them specifically, but again, until their companies respectively release something, I don't want to necessarily spill the beans on it. So that row there, where there's another section of Game Jam games on the left that could be identified. I believe that's the retro gaming game jam stuff. That's what these logos say to me. I don't, that one I think I can confirm for you guys. So let me pull that up on the website. I'm going to do this privately because I want to make sure that I don't, show you guys all of the things, all of the names, all the UI and these things that can change. But as I'm looking at it, yeah, those are retro game jam games. So I've got it pulled up on another monitor now, so I could confirm that.
And Lord Agnew over here on YouTube wants to know if the speedrun prize pool is going to be weekly or if it's going to be one-time thing. If anything, Lord Agnew, it's going to be one grand prize after the whole event. But it's still speculation at this time, so we don't know.
Yes, officially it hasn't been announced, but I'll go ahead and tell you. I think that I can tell you. And that is that just like with the raffle and the distribution of those tokens that happen on that snapshot, the high scores list will end at the end of the season, right? So it will get its own like little snapshot, right? To say who's in charge or who's in the lead at this one point. And then that's how the prizes are disseminated. So high scores won't be week to week because sand isn't distributed until the end of the season. All right. And then let's see, as we move across here, the ones that we can identify, we've got what is this little goblin game? What is this little goblin game? Oh, okay. Yeah, we've played this one before. So in Season 2, Dungeon of Dummies is coming back. That is Dungeon of DUM-YZ. Okay, and then the experience right under that one you guys are familiar with as Hidden Village. Played it in Alpha Season 2. We've got this experience right here. You're probably familiar with this face. You guys own a lot of doggies out there. Snoop Dogg's 4Play is coming back, and it has had some adjustments, some tweaks to it. Conrad and I have played it since it's tweaked, since it's adjusted, and I think personally it's a little bit better. It's basically the same, but definitely different, a little better.
Flows a little faster.
Yeah, and then we got a new mystery game here that, quite frankly, is really, really, really fun. I at least I enjoyed it quite a lot to the extent that I've played it so far. So you'll be excited for that one. And then it has some Mayan themes, we'll say, to that. And then Hanjin Music Palooza. You guys can read that, I think, on the screen there. Hanjin Music Palooza. Then we're seeing a little some familiarity on the screen again. What do you think this one is, Conrad? Who's this chap? Who's this guy?
Was he holding a cake?
He might be holding a cake.
He might be holding a cake.
Who holds a cake?
I don't know. Some dude named Steve. Probably not
There
a
it
big
is.
deal.
Yeah. Steve Aoki. That's right. So we got, we know who that is, chat. And you're seeing also an Aoki right under that. So you got multiple experiences. I think maybe 3. It's tough to identify because a little
It's
archiving.
looking like 3 there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to see. Let me get a little zoom in real quick. Let me get a little zoom. Oh yeah, that's definitely a third Steve. That's definitely a third Steve.
Steve's up in here.
We're getting some Steves in this house. All right. Now, right up here, this large one. Okay. I don't know who this is. Who's this? Who's this guy? Do we know this guy? Chat, do we know who this is?
Like a very, very confused Rambo.
It is. You know what? That one's not been announced. So I'm not going to do it. I just highlighted it, so I know exactly what it is. But chat, I can't tell you. I'm sorry. So let's go on. To the right. An experience listed. V Empire. All right.
We're just going to go ahead and mix the last 2 that you did there. We're going to get the Questo Steve, the Temple of Steves.
Sure. Temple of Steves. Now, let's see here. So there's some more in here that I think you're going to recognize, Conrad, as I'm kind of moving across from where the Steves were.
I'm seeing them. Jazz Wolf and I are recognizing that little death bat there.
Yeah, all right. So what's
Pretty
that?
excited about that.
What's that one? What does that mean, Conrad? Tell me what that means.
I mean, death bats? That's Avenged Sevenfold, friend.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
A7X is coming here. We got to see some of that in the trailer. That was real cool.
And then we've got
doing a lot in NFT spaces. What do we got there? Is that a little
They've been expanding. Got a little Pororo in here. Okay. So we know Pororo in the Metaverse in Alpha Season 3. That's pretty nice. Having a good time with that. And then what does this say? What does that say there? Chat. I feel like it's zooming too much. It's zooming too much, and I can't quite read it. I got something Chen. Something Chen.
Electronics here. Enhance.
Zoom. Enhance. That's right.
Enhance.
We're getting CSI Miami out here. All right. Whatever. I don't know why I picked the Miami one. Nobody watched that. Maybe they did. But I'm seeing a number 9. I'm seeing the word Chen. Connecting some dots here, Conrad.
Excuse me.
This experience is a community created experience. I think one that's part of. I can't remember. I know it's UGC. I'm pretty sure it's UGC.
I know which one you're talking about.
I'm not familiar with it. Not familiar 100%, but nonetheless.
Hasn't been announced yet.
Pella Robal says you need Wizzy the Purple's hat to see that. Pella Robal, you're right. You're right about that. I didn't announce it at the top of the show because you guys, I'm kind of playing fast and loose today, chat. But right here inside the chat is it logged me out. It logged me out of my own chat service, and now I got to click buses, guys. What's going on here? It literally logged me out while I was trying to paste a link. Did it go? Did the link go?
It hasn't. Now that we've been a half an hour into the show, now it did. We can go ahead and announce for everybody here. We have no idea when Alpha Season 3 is. It's entirely speculation at this point.
True.
The two of us may know. We don't know if each other knows at this time. I don't know what he knows, and he doesn't know what I know.
That's true.
And at this point, we would love to tell you all the information, but nothing has been officially announced. And at this time, we're looking at the trailers. that Sandbox Official has given us for the upcoming map for Season 3, and we're
That's right.
speculating.
That's right. That's right. And I just want to stress that the important thing that we are focused on here for Alpha Season 3, because we know it's going to be 10 weeks, right, is that the quality of the content, whether it be user-generated content, it be official content, it be the game maker that's coming out, the new release, the client that's coming out, there's a new release on that as well. All of those things, the basics like physics, how do I walk upstairs? We are working on refining, improving, changing, adjusting based on your feedback to the extent that we can in this. We have a projected time window that we push for some of these folks, right? And say, hey, what can we fix, change, adjust, improve to make sure that the stuff that you do is great, not good, right? And then we have some of these new experiences that are in there. When you talk about the Game Jam games that are in there, those games, you know, we've play tested. You guys have seen them on the show. But the user-generated content options that are coming into Season 3, similar to how Dracula's Castle was in Season 2, right? You guys came in and you said, hey, this thing about this I didn't like, right? And you talk about Dracula's Castle specifically, was about 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, depending on how you played it, right? And so you guys said, I want to be able to save, but save implicitly is not a function of the game maker yet. So what is happening in this season for that experience is that they have implemented a checkpoint system. As soon as you start, it says what chapter or whatever are you on of this experience right now. So you could play chapter 1, come back later, start chapter 2, do all those quests, and the quests themselves, because they're individually tracking, will give you that individual timer for those experiences. And so, yeah, you can start on chapter 2, you can start on chapter 3, what have you, and play it over a few sessions instead of having to play this one big block if you don't have that much time. So it's a significant improvement to that. And so you're going to see older experiences like that with changes, and then you're going to see new user-generated content experiences where these smaller studios, these people just like you guys, have been working on it, and you'll be able to give that feedback and see that change between Season 3 and Season 4. So working in this alpha stage is really nice because you guys can help shape the actual metaverse legitimately. And so you're, you know, and then as we get into Season 4 and 5 and what have you, you might see some of your experiences, like these extra Game Jam games that have popped in, be able to be introduced in those play to earn seasons. And so people can play your experiences. You know, somebody like D Electronics or V that have their experiences in Game Jam from Alpha Season 2 get to now say, my experience was featured in this, and it's a notch on your belt. Even if people aren't play to earn on your spaces, you can say, my experience was featured in this alpha of the Sandbox game, right? And so we've been around a while, we know what we're doing, kind of thing. So it's really, really nice. And there's a ton of games to play, like Tyler Garcia is saying. In this season, it's wildly impressive how many games there are. I know, like I said, Conrad, we've been already like what, a few hundred hours, I would say, at least, just playtesting games, and we haven't played them all.
No.
So yeah. And then as Wildana asks, is Meta Dungeon back again? And it is. Similar to Dracula's Castle, there have been changes that I think improve the game significantly, right? The things that you guys were talking about that you didn't like, some of those things have been adjusted, changed. Some things have been straight up removed from the experience because they went like, okay, you guys want a high quality experience with a good narrative. They had that, right? And the bits that might have been frustrating, they fixed it. So it's really interesting to see how these things have pivoted and adjusted if you were with us during Season 2. But in Season 3, it's going to be really nice. It's very good. And again, I just played it like a couple of days ago myself. And rather than it taking, I think the first time I played it took me like an hour. The second time I played it, it took me about 20 minutes. But maybe to a certain point, it was because I already knew what it was, right? Where I was going. So that probably saved me some time. But nonetheless, I didn't have that moment where I was frustrated like I did in the previous season. So they made some significant and good improvements to it. So super happy for that.
Right. And before we continue here,
yes,
you
sir.
have some questions coming in from the chat. Which, of course, all of these quality of life things that are coming through, guys, it's because of you once again. Because we're in alpha, we're listening, we hear you.
Yeah.
So don't just scream out into the ether and complain to nowhere. Like, can gather yourself. Let's try and simmer down a little bit. And realize that we could still talk. And
we got the
and
feedback.
We want to be your friend.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
we want to know your feedback.
We got the Discord.
We don't want to. We're not just trying to frustrate you.
Aloha, Nate. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Nate? DJ wants to know, will the Alpha Pass rewards and Speedrun rewards be a separate prize pool? Kind of assume that they're going to be two different prize pools, but at this point, there's nothing official once again.
Yes.
Joe just said,
I'm going to
give us a yes. But
I'm going to give you a yes. I'm going to give you a yes right now. It is. I know that number, and the answer is yes.
Right.
Conrad's trying to do the professional thing, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not here for like a week, bro. I gotta get these beans out. I gotta get these beans out.
I'll shoot you a text to figure it out.
Unicorn the Mythical asking in the chat, isn't that Avenged Sevenfold?
It is, yes. A7X is popping into the Sandbox. They've been building this experience for quite a while now. And it looks like they have 2 spots there. I didn't know about the second one.
I think it's actually one experience on 2 spots.
Okay. So they just got the 2 different logos going on there. Because I know the one on the bottom is for the game itself, right? And the death bot on top of that is going to be like their official logo.
Yes, that's right. So the skull itself was created, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Conrad, chat, what have you. I'm pretty sure it was made by Nabia Studio.
I believe so.
So they were one of the folks that were at NFT NYC. That had created these assets. So it's going to be really nice to be able to play some of these experiences live for people when we're ready to do that. But, let's see.
Right. But continuing on some of these questions, RX78 wants to know if we KYC, we get live streaming rewards if we fill out the form from 1 to C. So when it comes to the rewards for the things given away on these chats, you just fill them out one time. And just put in your single wallet that you would use for the Sandbox game. Eventually, KYC might be implemented into how we do things here. It could be pretty easy as soon as we have the verification on accounts themselves at Sandbox. Otherwise, for right now, just fill out that form that one time and get your chance to win an unrelated, but still related to the Sandbox, Wizzy Purple hat.
Yes. So that's, I guess... To elaborate on that a little bit too, for when we get into the alpha season, we will be giving away season passes on this show. Season passes will require that you're KYC'd. So yes, you need to be. Even if you win here and we say out loud you won, if you're not KYC'd, we can't distribute it to you. So there's no sense in not. If you're looking to play to earn or be eligible for the raffle. A lot of folks mentioned earlier this week, maybe last week, I can't remember exactly the timing on it because time flies when you're having fun. The people on Twitter were making a note of the fact that we released a KYC option to 1,000 random users who claimed a reward from Alpha Season 2, right? We sent them an email and we said, you could be KYC'd right now if you want to so we can test it. And it means know your customer, right? It's a proof of humanity that you send in. One is take a picture of a photo ID, and then the second is take a picture of your face zoomed out, and then take a picture of your face zoomed in. So you're not just taking a picture of a picture, if that makes sense. So we do the KYC method, and then you'll be eligible to possibly win in a raffle. And this is, because there is a fiscal value to these NFTs, right? The alpha season passes from season 1, season 2, they've had a financial value. And certain nations all over the world, really many of them, say that it is illegal for us to give away stuff to people of certain age groups. Our terms and conditions say you must be 18 years or older on the website currently. This is an extra measure towards that, depending on what country you live in, of course. There's different rules in different places. And then there's, maybe it's... considered labor, depending on where you are, to play to earn, despite the fact that you're playing and earning. Like, you're playing first, and then maybe you're earning. Some countries may say, well, if you earned while you played, then it was work or something like that, right? So it's all, stuff that we have to make sure that as a community collectively we understand that the laws exist somewhere, right? And we want to make sure that the sandbox can continue to exist, thrive, grow all over the world, so that all of our games that we're making together on this show that we're talking about, playing and doing all these things, that you guys can continue to thrive and grow, right? Because we've seen huge economies pop up out of this, like for brand new businesses, left and right. Almost all of these experiences that are on here are built by a brand new business that said, I know how to build in the sandbox game. I'm a game studio and I'm building for you. And those people are working just like you guys are with some of you with private partners already that you don't even talk about. That's kind of how this whole thing will continue to exist, is continue to operate within the law. But Candidly Kristen asking, where is Club XYZ? I don't think we're that far yet. Oh, we are. Oh, okay. Well, Club XYZ is this one, Candidly Kristen. This particular Steve Aoki. So it looks like Steve Aoki's taking over the Club XYZ in this season.
Oh.
In the previous seasons, it was Dead Mouse and it was DJ Blondish. Now it's Steve Aoki on this stage. So, big fan.
Right. But continuing on with some of these some of these questions as well as we continue to experience, and look at this wonderful map here. Jayco on 006 wants to know if there's any token gate experience this time around.
There is not. All experiences that we have in our official seasons are intended to be ungated, free for you to enjoy. That's the point of our official seasons. What different groups do with their own individual seasons is at their discretion. What you do as a developer is at your choice. You could make it gated behind an NFT. You could make it charged to access, 1 sand or whatever. You can make it so that there's a one-time ever charge, if you like. But nonetheless, you can do this one for free and enjoy it and have some fun and learn a little bit more about what the sandbox is and what it can be. Because a lot of these, there's a diverse amount of experiences here of varying complexities that I think is going to be interesting to see. Because you'll see some experiences that are relatively flat. You'll see some experiences that almost take up the entire verticality of the 128 meters. Like there's something to do in each individual block pretty much. And you'll see other experiences that are somewhere between those, right? So it's going to be interesting to see.
Right. And chat is already calling you out on it. There was token gate for climbing madness at the end of last season.
There was.
Yeah. So
and then
going to get similar?
No. Because in the first season, you guys said, I don't like the fact that I could only play in 3 experiences and otherwise I needed a pass. We got that, so we opened it up mostly. And then at the end of the second season, there were still people who said, I don't like the fact that there was a gated experience at the end and I didn't get a chance to be in there with my friends and celebrate and whatnot. Because the last experience required the season 2 pass to be in it. In the season 2, which was like a celebration, you got it, you get your special place. But in this season, there's not that. That does not exist.
Right. And I do want to clarify for those who are wondering about the leaderboards and the timing for the speed runs. You can give it as many shots as you want. It doesn't record just your very first run. So please take your time at these experiences and enjoy them.
Yeah.
And of course, Michael Moe wants to know, is there going to be a switch to turn on speedrun or like an option to opt into the speedrun, or is it just a play thing on each experience? And again, I do want to elaborate. It's everybody is technically in on the speed run. It's just whether or not you feel like going for that top time is entirely up to you. It is completely new run every single time you do it. So don't even worry about it.
And then just to elaborate on what that looks like, I can describe it, but I can't show you because otherwise I'd be spilling some beans for sure. But what it looks like is, when you play an experience right now and on the right side of your screen, there's a little quest box that pops up when you pick up a quest. The first time you play that quest box is going to pop in and it's going to tell you the details of the quest. And you don't know that you are automatically recording that time, right? Which is like, you're setting your first run, right? And then the second time you play in the experience, if you play the same one again, as soon as your quest ! To like pick it up is gray color, you'll also notice that you pick up that quest and it says your best time that you've ever done doing that quest will be under the quest description. Right there. It's automatic, right? So you can go pick up a quest, play it for the first time, enjoy it at a regular pace, and then come back and play it again, and you'll see exactly how long it took you to do it the first time. There was one of mine that, like, I optimized down. I think I had like 20 plus minutes on the first time that I had done it. And the next time that I did it, like, because I wanted to see how fast I could do it, I got it down to like 2 minutes or something like that. Just like, because it went from absorbing the narrative and enjoying the piece for what it is and going like, okay, now how fast can I go, right? Because, you know, I was testing specifically like high score stuff at the time. But as we're looking further on this map, Conrad, I'm seeing a little bit of Ubisoft IP over here. Got a little Rabbids in my space.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm excited for all the Rabbit stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
They have a lot of really creative, exciting ideas. I've always liked the twist that Rabbids like puts on some like classic games that we already know and love, party game wise.
Mhm.
I often think that Rabbids is overlooked, but it's really not.
Yeah, and
It's still very popular.
And it's one of those IPs that, like, you know, they're about some mischief, right? So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the space to the right of it as well. Because this,
right, what is going on with that?
You got a little graffiti going on there. You know, there's a little graffiti covering up my NFT collection logo that's on the side of the NFT Institute.
Yeah. Wasn't there a great little? Yeah, I was about to say there was a great little museum.
Yeah, that's right.
Chilling there.
That's right.
Did it get wrecked by the rabbits?
It's back and they're messing it up, Conrad. It's back and they're messing it up. Now this space right in the middle here. This
jerks. They can't understand fine art.
Is, I mean, they understand it. They understand it. They just don't respect it.
Just making it better.
All right.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Like, is this our hub?
This is our hub.
What do we got here, Joe?
Yep, okay. Right in the dead center. So this is just like the previous season. It is a hub. However, spoiler alert, it's been fully reworked and looks nothing like it did in season 2 or season 1. Literally.
What? This is so surprising for me.
Yeah, like you haven't been in it testing with me. But nonetheless,
no.
It's totally different. And interestingly, it actually takes away, I think, everywhere, the idea of a portal. In the previous seasons, occupying quite a lot of space were these big portals around the map. But in this season, many of the NPCs that you will interact with in this space, many of the zones, which are essentially like, I don't know how to describe it, except for it kind of feels to me a little bit like looking nothing like it and having nothing to do with this and this Nintendo property. For some reason, the word Splatoon comes to mind. Like, it's like a splash of an IP here, a splash of an IP over here, a storyline beat that comes from this place to this place, or, you know, something like that. So all of these different elements.
I mean, all of our themes are kind of like coinciding next to one another. They're kind of clashing, right?
Exactly.
But what do you mean no portals? We like the portals.
I mean,
we're still going to be seeing them throughout other experiences, though, right?
I believe so. Yes, there are some experiences that still have portals. I'm just thinking about it. Yes, some experiences do have the portals, but realistically, these portals served as a device that took you to a link that was here on the map, right? So the dashboard itself, it was like an in-game convenience situation. And now I think, for me, it's actually going to be more convenient, because as I'm looking down to the bottom right and I'm seeing this Bored Ape Yacht Club Ape, if you want to go to that experience, you can simply by talking to a Bored Ape in the main social hub. So if you were in the main alpha hub, you went there, you want to go to another experience, you know, you could just pop over to him, have a nice chat. And some of those experiences may say, in order to unlock this one, you have to go have done these other experiences, or you can subvert that. I think, yeah, you could subvert it by going out of the map, if it was already unlocked. Of course, there is an unlock rollout period, so you'll see we're going to release certain a few games a day on average for this out of this alpha over that 10-week period. So you'll have lots of different opportunities to play and refine during the season. But nonetheless, it's nice to see a true interpretation of the metaverse, I think, because before it was kind of like a sandboxy narrative, if that makes sense, with the oracles in the central town, right, and the heroes with the scientists in central town. But those three kind of dominated that hub a little bit, and you didn't get to see what user-generated content means, I thought. But, you know.
Yeah, a lot of that was kind of lost to the ether.
Yeah.
As we were kind of concentrating on partners to be like, look, this is what you can do. And now that we are on season 3 and we have a lot more game jams under the belt, we can really highlight the community on this forefront instead of just on the show, right?
Right.
Super excited.
And so, to no surprise, as you all have seen this logo a million times, The Walking Dead here with an experience in this season. That's nice. I'm excited to play that. And I'm not totally sure if that's another one or not. But it looks like it's another one. Right down here with the chain link fence and the, broken down car. Feels a little apocalyptic to me. There's a little something going on. Is that a walker? I think it is. They got a little hobble to their step, So a couple of Walking Dead experiences. And then we've got what is this? Slum something? Can you read that, Conrad? Can you read that? I don't know what that is over there as I'm looking at it.
Oh, no, it's too difficult for me to read.
All right, yeah, it's Slum something here, and a little experience. But then we've also got a couple of Game Jam games, again, popping up. I
actually know what it says, once again.
I do know what it says, yes. I don't want to spill the beans unless I'm allowed to, so I'm just doing what they released, and I'm, taking advantage of that, chat. But the Game Jam 1, 2, 3, first, second, and third place are using a font type that I think we can recognize to be a The Walking Dead font. So these are the Walking Dead Game Jam game experiences. But they are listed on here as Undead Game Jam. So it's interesting to see. We'll use some of those. The folks used themes that were generally similar to The Walking Dead. But we want to differentiate that in this particular season to say these are user-generated content experiences versus curated content experiences for The Walking Dead, using the Walking Dead IP, and separating those two things. So that's interesting to see that come to light here on the map. And then I got to zoom out just a little bit so we can see more of these experiences again. All right. As we come across, of course, Atari, front and center, quite nice, quite obvious there. Okay. And then just a little bit over here, Conrad, do you know what this one is? I think chat knows what this one is. But we've got
it's very wowing, I must say.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes me say, wow. That's crazy.
Wow.
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 Wow. World of Women.
Wonderful.
World of Women.
Wonderful World of Women, right.
That's right. World of Women out here. And the interesting bit is that they appear to occupy all three of these spaces. So you've got three different unique World of Women experiences here. Then Crystal Castles here. We got the Warner Media Group space here as well. So this is an experience themed around somebody who is in the Warner Media Group label right now.
I mean, I can speculate with the chat here. I'm not seeing a very, very prominent person.
Who do we see?
That we got to meet in NYC, but I'm not seeing Swaco's experience here.
Oh yeah, they were with us at NFT NYC at the panel, so that tracks. That makes sense on the day when the Warner Media Group.
You think that Swaco could be in there? Is that what we're missing here?
Yeah, he's not speculating.
I think the next to POC says Candidly Kristen.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be right there. That could be just to the left of Warner Media.
It actually is. That's exactly what that is. Just to the left of Warner Media Group.
What's going to be in Warner Media then?
I don't know.
He did announce it himself. He already did announce it himself, correct?
Yep. Curious to see what goes in the Warner Media Group land. Interesting. And right above that, you've got a gentleman who appears to be climbing. That sounds like some madness to me, chat. Climbing Madness experience, the one that was previously gated just to those people who had won the Alpha Season Pass Season 2, will be there in that experience. Climbing Madness, you guys can all play. Everybody can play as soon as it comes out. All right. Then we're going to come over here in the top right. You can see as Nowhere mentioned Rasul saying that the Fun Guy Kingdom featured right there. Okay. So the Fun Guys Kingdom, you guys played that experience in Alpha Season 2. That's going to make its return. And then what else we got here? We know this one, just the long one here is the Way to Zalia experience, right? It's essentially like a road with some relatively simple quests. We know the Dead Mouse is there. Theme Time Ogden. I haven't got a chance to try this one yet, but we'll see what that is as the season comes together. Okay. And as it is zooming out a little bit more, oops, I've zoomed in. We've got some experiences that I think, obviously, you guys can recognize the Smurfs here. You can recognize the Care Bears experiences here. Now, there's one that's the Jinta Valley Social Hub. Those experiences.
Chat's pointing out that Tools of Rock over there.
Tools of Rock? Yeah, let me verify. Yeah, I believe so. You're right. Up here, TOR. TOR. Yep.
Chat knows it.
Chat knows it. We got Lululand experience down here in the bottom. There's a new Ledger experience. We recognize that logo. We talk about Ledger all the time. So a Ledger experience in here. I'm familiar with this one. I'm familiar with this asset, but I don't remember exactly where it's from. But this is an experience. I know it by name as I'm highlighting it. And this is an Alpha Season 2 experience called the Green Inferno. If you're familiar with that, that's coming back. We got Missing Parts Social Hub and Missing Parts Chapter 1. 2 separate experiences from the Missing Parts team. You would note that in the first season, the Missing Parts experiences, people were talking about how that was, sometimes they'd load in and it had a little bit of lag to it because some of their designs were highly sophisticated in those very large singular assets, things like that. So one thing to note about the Missing Parts spaces is that they have been optimized in this season. So I guess you will probably enjoy that, chat. And then we've got some others that we can't discuss at the bottom there yet. But nonetheless, a lot of cool stuff on the map, Conrad. And we actually have 2 experiences right here that you guys played in Alpha Season 2 as well. So these 2 experiences are the Valley of Belonging. You're familiar with that. And then Meta Pride on the Roof is the name of this experience right here next to Atari as well. So we got a ton of games and experiences to play in Alpha Season 2 that will take a long time, quite honestly. A long time to play in a good way, right? Because I know that I had a lot of fun when I played it in internal playtests. I've been having fun when we're playing it for quality assurance checks, Conrad. And which one of these stands out to you as something that you're excited to jump into when you get into Alpha Season number 3?
Oh, I mean, Joe, you know I'm all about those speedruns. So, getting a chance back at Race Maze again, Climbing Madness, getting down into that competition, I'm all about.
Okay.
So, but otherwise, as far as something, that I haven't gotten to experience yet, I haven't, snuck my head around because we've been so busy with other testing. I haven't stuck my head around to go into the Avenged Sevenfold land.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to see it yet.
Okay.
So,
all right.
and I figure we're already at this point in the stage of testing to where we're weeks and weeks and weeks on in. I figure I haven't done it yet, so I'm just gonna wait to where I can leave something to do for everybody for a first time experience.
I like it.
So
I like that. Yeah, there's a ton of experiences out here that I'm interested in doing. I'd say that probably the one that I'm most, like you said, Race Maze. There's a little special place in my heart for that map right now. Because at PandaPops, talking all that trash on the social media, trying to say that she's gonna beat me and Alex in a live race, and I protest. I'm gonna beat PandaPops live for you guys again. Get second place every time. They would go first and third, and I was always second. It was wild. But I got a reputation to uphold, Chad. I got the high score on the private test, so best speed run, race maze. There's no way, dear Ash, no way that PandaPops is gonna beat me. But probably also she's gonna destroy me. Like there's no way. Live, there's something different about racing against somebody live, especially on camera. Because like you can't just be like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go get it.
Right.
You have to be like looking at chat, talking, interacting, laughing with people, right? And you're like, oh no, serious now. We're serious. We're gonna race. Can't do it. But, we'll see what happens. All right, let's see. Joe, a question coming on from Marco Galvano. Joe, the Sandbox had an event with Binance called Crypto WODL, where you could win out of the one. I assume that you meant to say one of the 10 alpha passes by answering the survey that was that already rewarded. Marco, I would advise you caution against these sorts of competitions. Quite honestly, I know for one, no season passes have been awarded. For two, I don't believe that we would be doing a marketing program with that. I could be wrong. If an ambassador knows and I'm wrong, correct me. But
pretty certain that Binance did do something, but nothing would have been awarded yet.
Yeah, well, yeah, if there is a prize to be awarded, it wouldn't be awarded until the first distribution of people who won through any kind of contest, social contest here on the show, what have you, which is going to be 1 week after, usually on a Thursday, 1 week after the alpha starts. That would be the first time that we distribute that. Okay, D-Electronics says that they saw it, but they didn't do it. So
yeah. We can't give out any estimated date.
Summer.
Season 3.
That's it. That's what we got. Summer.
Yep.
Northern Hemisphere summer. Even I'm going to specify that way.
Right.
People in Australia don't freak out. Okay.
Yeah. Only Binance announced. Only Binance announced that contest.
Yeah.
For
Wordle.
TSP. Okay. Right. For the Wordle thing. Otherwise, TSP official hasn't said anything on it. So.
Yeah.
Patience with that one, I guess. You'd have to contact their team. Otherwise, we are the wrong direction to turn to, unfortunately. RX78 wants to know about implementation of the different factions in Season 3. And at this time, we just know that they're going to be in a couple experiences. We can play with some of them. Otherwise, nothing to expand upon there. Can't quite join those factions yet.
Yeah, that's correct. They will not have any sort of subsystems yet where a person could join a faction and maybe possibly get some kind of pool. And quite honestly, that idea may never exist, right? Because as ideas do, right? As ideas go, sometimes it just doesn't work out. And that's okay because we
fall to the ether, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we've got good narrative beats. Knowing now that the Alpha Hub is different, if you guys all end up preferring this Alpha Hub and you don't want to explore that sort of thing at all, you want to say, like, I actually like the new hub. Like, I have nostalgia for the old hub, but I like the new hub more in the idea that it feels more like a metaverse. It feels more like all these different brands, people, groups, users get to come together in one space and exist in that same space simultaneously, right? In a way, right? It looks like if somebody went out and got themselves a Bored Ape and a Smurf and Pororo and a Steve Aoki asset, and you put them all in your land, right? That's what that hub looks like in a nice and refined and clear way. Right. So I'm excited about it for that reason. So if that continues to be the trend, if people tend to like that, then it may be that this factions idea goes away, because now we have a high scores list, right? A thing that wasn't part of a faction idea at all. And so,
you know something, Joe? I don't think it does go away. I think that all it does is it just changes the direction that we actually just take factions. Adding a leaderboard, adding in, as the investors, as they are getting more into the idea of the interoperability that we want to offer here, and the social hub kind of celebrating that. I think the factions are just going to come in, I'm gonna say it because it's right there in front of us, sevenfold.
Wow.
And as we continue, it's just going to increase the competition that we get, because we're gonna have leaderboards for, I can see it now. We would have leaderboards for the internal factions, and then we have the overall faction leaderboard, and then we have that faction leaderboard for everyone. You know what I'm talking about? You can really expand on that idea.
Yeah, I guess it's all theoretically possible now that this high scores thing exists, right? And so then it's, again, we're in alpha. What do we want to test? What do we want to try? What do we want to do? And we'll see if those subsystems get built, or if how long they take them. Jambrucci asking over on twitch.tv, do we need to play maps in order to reach max level for max reward? Jambrucci, you wouldn't need to play every quest in order to get level 5 if you have a pass, right? And what Jambrucci's talking about is the tracking of a certain amount of EP, which are essentially a reward for quest points. You don't have to play everything in order to do that. However, I would guess that if you want to be on the high scores board and compete for that sand pool and those prizes, where the top prize was 30,000 sand tokens, you're probably going to need to have all the quests done. I would guess that those people will have completed all the quests, and then even more so, I believe that the people who are at the top of that are not only completing all the quests, but they're also getting the best times, because time is like the secondary way that you define between two groups who won, right? So I played a bunch of experiences, but not even I'd say a fifth, not even a fifth of all the experiences during a playtest that lasted 4 hours a couple of days ago, where I literally spammed the button to skip all the story, because I was going to see how fast can I do this, right, in this particular playtest. And I ended up getting 4th overall, and I could see it happen 4th overall because I didn't have as many EP or ethos points, which you earn when you complete quests. But I did have a better high score, in terms of speed running, right? My speed running time was way better than most people in there. And among the top 10, I was the only person with less than 3 hours of total quest time while I was doing my speed run stuff. So it actually took me more time to change which zone I was in compared to refining down some quests. So what I would do in order to do that is I would play the experience once. Now I know the experience, and I would go play it again. And so, yeah, I had the EP part wasn't going up because I was redoing quests, but my times were going down. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to do.
Right. And just to clarify for everybody in the chat, the KYC has not been sent out, but for 1,000 people who ended up doing season 2. So we'll still be announcing that real soon. So no KYC yet, folks. So just hold on to your horses until then. And just a standard government ID is going to be required for KYC. If anything, something that proves that you are you.
Yes.
And then DJ wants to know, how will rarities and tiers for avatar projects be advantage into other than their scarcity itself? And I could touch on this one just a little bit. As we know that the doggies have gotten some airdrops, that is all on their project itself. So the doggies is separate from the Sandbox team, as it's in the doggies team. Same with the avatar for People of Crypto and Steve Aoki, and more than likely the rest of the projects are coming with 10K projects and other projects like that. So it would be up to their team if they're going to do if they're going to do any sort of airdrops or any sort of rewards other than just the scarcity and the rarity of these avatars. So now there's not anything that's going to give you an advantage for having different types of avatars other than just holding this time.
Yeah. Okay. Now Marco Galvano asks, are Sandbox staff able to join leaderboards such as yourself, Joe, and Conrad, or maybe PandaPops and Alex? End
Please
sentence.
Don't.
Please don't.
Please don't.
Okay. So Marco, 2 things. 1, Anybody who has an account that's labeled as an administrator account on the website, meaning we have unfettered access to do anything or moderate stuff and all that sort of thing, we cannot be seen on the leaderboard, but our times are still recorded and don't necessarily affect against you. But another half, when I see your please don't, because it makes me smile, makes me laugh a little bit. I'm not actually gonna be anywhere near good enough to get 30,000 sand. There's no way. But Sandbox staff aren't restricted from being able to participate either, right? So, you know, many of us are just artists or just coders. You know, I wanted to say nerds because that's me. You know, we're not like pro gamers over here. The show that you watch here, oh, I don't know why I have a timer going off. The show that you watch here, we play test your games. So in terms of like, you know, who's the top tier on a staff level, it is probably going to be those of us that you see on live streams, and some people who are quality assurance testers. But realistically, how does that compare with the general community? Like, you've seen the competitions that have been put out there from, I don't know, Meta Olympics, right? I participated in those competitions. Panda participated in those competitions, and we didn't get close to what you guys got in terms of like times for those. So at the end of the day, it's going to be, it's really not going to be a big deal that staff is in there, because, you know, many of them, like literally I know some staff members who don't or didn't own cryptocurrency wallets at all. They work here and that's what they do, and then they go home, right, and they don't, you know, so there's all kinds. Exactly. There's all types of people, right? And the reason why we're on this show is because we tend to be the experts. Like you guys, we came up just doing it inside the ecosystem, and then we became part of the ecosystem as a result of having just done it, played the games, made the games, whatever. Now,
we're your unelected officials.
Conrad, that's pretty funny. Conrad, why did the Oreo go to the dentist?
Oh, for crying out loud. Did you ask for jokes again?
I did.
Are we about to find out our Wizzy winner? All right. Why did the Oreo go to the dentist, Joe?
Because it lost its filling. Over on twitch.tv, username Patio3900 is the winner of Wizzy the Purple's something hat. What's the new word? I had it. I have it on my screen. Enhanced.
It's enhanced.
Wizzy the Purple's enhanced hat.
You got me with that one. That was a good one. That was a good one, Patio.
There it is. There it is. Patio3900.
Congratulations over on Twitch.
GG to you.
And as we filled up this hour quite quickly, I hadn't even realized.
Yeah.
I know I showed up late.
15 minutes.
But, oh, geez. Time is flying by.
Time is flying by. Rigged, says Monkey D11. That's pretty funny.
Right,
you guys,
right.
Ever since we played that game by Half Dork, you guys are like, you're all about it. You're all about the rigged meme. I appreciate it. It's pretty funny.
So I want to get down to this question here. So
okay.
Gothium Beta over on YouTube. I probably butchered your name. I apologize. Will Sandbox ever move out of using voxels?
No, but with the animator in VoxEdit, you can rig assets such that the voxels are faces. And by that I mean,
and by rigged he means to like put together and like graph together.
Yes. It's how your arrangement of the asset aligns, right?
Not by trying to change a form. Was the hat giveaway?
Off the top of my head, I don't know how you even came to that conclusion, Radcon. That's so wild. It's just like all those words were processing. Rigged. No, rigged. So when you're in VoxEdit, you can make a flat surface, right? Let's say you make a rectangle. Let's say this is your rectangle, right? And it's I don't know, 3 by 3 by 1 like this. You can take this and you can grab another rectangle and then align them just like this, so they're slightly rounded, and make many of them. And now you've got a ball, right? So essentially you can make what is equivalent to Nintendo 64 or PlayStation 1 graphics with a reasonable amount of fidelity on an asset, and then texture those panels that you make as you're putting it together, because you can adjust each individual panel as if you want it to be, texturized however you like. So you make assets that are with a reasonable amount of faces within you want to go less than 4,000. Don't set that as a target. Don't think I need to hit exactly 4,000. And you want to have less than 200 points of contact. So 4,000 faces, the number of polys on the object. So a rectangle like this, right, would have 6 faces because it's got the front, the top, the side, the bottom, and the back. 6 faces. So you get less than 4,000 faces and 200 points of junction in that asset, and it should be relatively optimized. If you can go under that while getting a close or strong, the same effect, then I recommend you do, because when users put a bunch of those things together in games, then that can make things pretty laggy if you have a bunch of really high fidelity assets in your experiences, because of the way that those things rig together. The actual joints themselves can cause some undue lag because it's processing the animation itself in your CPU. How does that asset move or wiggle? If you make assets that do not move or wiggle, it will not count as having 200 joints. If it is not animated, then your asset will act as though it is one single jointed asset in the game maker. So if you're making something that's like a building, you can add a little bit of extra fidelity to that building as long as you don't animate it at all. So nonetheless, hopefully that helps. I know that that's a complicated answer, but yeah, hopefully that helps. Not just voxels. It is voxels, but it doesn't have to feel like it.
Right. And then Kazuku Warlord, hopefully I said your name right as well. When premium landowner perks revealed, and as far as I'm aware, premium lands were just a better location, and also they came with some assets, if I remember right, as they continue to get released.
So, at the time, yes, that was true. But there may be different rewards coming in the near future. But until you see an official press release on that, I don't want to discuss those terms necessarily, because in all reality, what made it premium was its proximity to a partner land. When we get out of these early alpha seasons and the wider metaverse opens, that is what made it premium. And then additionally, the assets that came with the land as well as part of that bundle. So you were getting assets that were exclusive to the purchase of that bundle when you purchased it as a bundle. If you bought a premium land on a third-party market, you wouldn't have gotten those assets. It would have just said premium based on its location. But essentially, when it said premium initially, that was a sign that among those that the Sandbox was selling directly to the community, they would include NFTs and have close proximity to a partner.
Oh, here we go. Uncle Grumpy is saying it's on the landowner's roadmap.
Yes.
Mentioned in there. And PG,
thank you.
PT. Premium landowners will have a library for the game. Okay.
Sure.
I'm into it.
I mean, yeah, having different assets, that expansion is, again, that's an adjustment that we would make going forward. But I would stress that a person doesn't take, any speculation for a fact until they see in a Medium article or, in a press release that we put out that this is exactly what's going on there, but don't necessarily speculate that. So the Electronics saying a Medium article mentioned something about behaviors on premium land being exclusive. So if that is the case, then once again, look for those over at sandboxgame.medium.com for more information on stuff like that.
We'll try our best to get off the rest of the information to you guys. There's so much going about.
There's a ton of stuff to track, chat. If you didn't already know, the ambassadors, they know for sure. There's a ton of stuff to do all the time and track all the time.
Right. Forever. I mean, I'm just right here. There are assets only for the use in-game, not to resell. Okay. But Fear Engineer wants to know, are there any improvements to the camera and controls to help combat motion sickness? Maybe a minority here, which for your engineer, you're not. But can I play more than 30 minutes of the game without getting extremely nauseous? So for your engineer, that is going to be entirely up to the individual devs themselves on how they set up their cameras. I know with a lot of users that experience um, that experience a lot of extra like motion control and like, or sorry, not motion control, motion sickness, like car sickness and things like that. Just taking frequent breaks and making sure that you're not staring at any bright lights, things like that, can definitely help with that. And of course, playing games that have locked cameras will always help with that, as well as the sensitivity uh, for the mouse on the sandbox can be a little fast. Definitely adjust that, but quality of life for these kinds of things are being worked on, as we do hear your complaints. We do hear you guys.
Yeah, yeah. And PG Live PT asking, is chat still in the middle of the screen in season 3? There is a chat function in the bottom left of the screen. It does minimize, however. I can't recall. Conrad, do you remember if it manually minimizes? Like, could I choose to just have it always be off or not? I can't remember. I remembered it going away when nobody said anything automatically.
I believe we could manually tone it down.
Yeah, maybe we should double check that. I don't know, because I felt like we could, but yeah,
it's
I never.
Been a minute since I bothered to look.
Yeah.
A good question there from Warlord as well over on YouTube. Can we bind controllers to season 3? And no native controller support yet, but once again, we definitely see you. I know. Okay. I got my PS4 controller right here.
Yeah, and that there was a couple of third-party apps that people were using in season 2 to make that possible, and they seemed to work fine. But candidly, Kristen's saying we had a button before to shrink it, but not completely close it. And I think that's probably just exactly the same thing, because there's still the UI UX at the bottom for that. To be able to see Metaverse or local is still there. Magesh saying, when is season 3? Soon, TM? No, it's scheduled for summer, but we can't give away an official release date at this time, as we want to make sure that all of the individual components that are required to make it go well are polished and high quality. So we are doing that actively, constantly, seeing, changing, adjusting, and doing new things. And to that point, let me see if I can spill some beans again. Let me see if I could do that. Did I have that here? I don't remember if I had the thing. Which one of these told me exactly? 19 public releases were tested, approved by QA, and merged on the main branch this week. 29 new issues have been reported for bugs. 47 issues have been closed as fixed, however. So, good news on the progress, that the bugs are far... And once again, these sometimes they're as simple as, like, I was installing it and the thing froze on download number 36, right? And we fixed that. But seeing 47 issues closed and 29 new. Yes, as complicated
as my PC just exploded.
I mean, has that happened? Did you do that? Did your PC explode? Do it!
I mean, some of these experiences during the olden days, my PC probably would have exploded.
Be pretty funny. Let's see. I also have a list of issues closed. Oh, so in the last week, there were 22 bugs that were fixed, including something simple, right? You might not think of this as an issue necessarily, depending on what you think, but empty slots are not shown in inventory was a thing that we fixed, right? So we're seeing something simple like experiences are lacking music in some of those experiences, right? If you were going into an experience and that background music that you hear, like Conrad and I are literally testing for things like when you pick up a quest, does it go ding?
Oh my goodness! My notebook is. I have Google Docs full of info, and I also have a notebook full of info on just stuff. Just bug squashing. And oh man, one of the big ones there is just sound effects, because I want to zone out and just kind of listen to background music and just do the work, but we can't do that because we got to make sure that all of the little minutia is working for you guys.
Yeah. So there's funny. Here's one you guys are gonna laugh about. Avatar spawner in the Game Maker, specifically in the new update. It says if you rotate the spawner 180 degrees on the Z-axis, you will spawn upside down.
Cool.
Fixed. You no longer spawn upside down.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's so many little things, right? So as we continue to get closer to the new season, we want to make sure that, again, these are high quality experiences that you have. And especially with something like the Game Maker that is a no-code builder, something like that, you might have put down an asset and been like, why do I keep spawning upside down? And like getting upset about it or whatever, right? And obviously you don't want to do that. You don't want to spawn upside down. So those little things are super important to test for and test for and test for until they don't exist. And then we can release that alpha season. But we are still scheduled in summer. So got a couple of wild ones here.
Right.
Chat the time.
And Ulysses wants to know, will everyone be available to KYC for season 3?
Yes.
Answer for that is yes. And I know Joe is over here. Joseph.
Yes.
Division EX. And
What
I
up?
myself, Radcon Dad, just want to remind you that no feeling is final and that you can get through it, chat. That season 3 is still around the corner and we want to make sure that you're with us there for it. So
Yes.
whatever feeling you're feeling today, I hope you're doing well. And if you're not, you have ears across the metaverse ready to help you out in any way that we possibly can. And play us out of there, Joseph.
Now I'm going to spend the next week, Conrad, literally moving. You're going to move.
I'm gonna help you with that, right?
I mean, if you want to, sure.
I'm the guy that helps.
I'm going to get you a burger at the Humdingy. I'm going to go to the Humdingy afterwards. You don't get to eat a lot of
Figure
meats.
it out.
All right. It's a nice little 50s style restaurant that doesn't even have a seating. It doesn't even have seating. They bash on the window. Like you sit in your car, they bash on the window.
You literally roll up to the side of the building and just slam on it and be like, I want a burger! And they go, what kind?
Yeah, it's great.
Pretty great.
It's great. So we're going to get some of that after we win. Yeah.
Yes, most definitely. You know that Holly and I are there for you, but we're going to go see our friend Maddox Asteria. Because that's the only person. That's the only person. I just cut you off. I was reading your mind there.
I like it. I like it. MADDOXOFFURYA. If you'd like to join us over on twitch.tv for this raid, I literally press Control V instinctively.
I'm going to point out this chatter here. Yazerbeam over on Twitch says, also, Oli and I found a dog poop dog. Okay, thanks, bye. That's going to be Joseph's wife and child. They found a dog that they have already decided upon. And you can see Joseph's brain not working.
I need to build a fence. I have to build a fence. It doesn't have a fence, chat. You got a yard, no fence.
Apartment, I have 2 dogs. What is the fence?
62 viewers are ready to raid over on twitch.tv right now. We're going to send those folks out. Thanks for hanging out with us, chat. I'll be back on the 18th when I have internet.
For real, Rufu. I cannot wait to meet you, my friend. We're going to let those dogs out real soon, everybody. And thank you for joining us this live. And if you guys have any games to play, make sure to let us know because we want to test out your games before you send them off to the great Game Maker and dates. We want to make sure to help you get them to that Game Jam Tier 1. Let's do it, guys.
Yes.
Let's do it.
And hey, win some money. Help us help you win money. That's what we want to do. We want to help you get that paper. All right. I'll put us in the screen. I click in the raid now. See you later, Twitch. Bye.
Love you, chat. Let's go.
Bye. See you later, YouTube, D Live, Theta, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, everybody.